Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and do an overview of Honest Audiophile, and to go from there, I actually got a lot of folks basically saying, "Hey, what about Honest Audiophile?" And even Honest Audiophile himself is he's chiming in, and yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Honest Audiophile, he's about 25,000 subscribers as of July 4th, 2026. So he's definitely a popular IM reviewer. So my bad, I forgot to actually include him in this video. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it and go from there. So I'm just going to basically, I want folks to understand I'm not reviewing reviewers, even though it seems like that. I am mainly, what I'm trying to do is tell you how I navigate a reviewer so that it can help me. Because there's some tips that can help basically regarding Honest Audiophile so that it'll help you. At least I think so. But I find it funny, like, bro's reviewing reviewers now. I could see that it could be seen that way, but that's not actually my intention. It's more just to tell you how I navigate each reviewer. So anyway, let's get right into it. Honest Audiophile is actually kind of easy to navigate. When you look at his page, so his thumbnail literally has the summary of what he's going to say. So, Unique Stardust, a true reference IM, finally gets it right. Without me even clicking on it, I know he's gonna glaze it. He loves that IM, right? But then when he goes right here, Tantrum Fola, clean, neutral, bright, but missing the magic. Honestly, that's all you need. That's all the information you need. Basically, you're knowing right off the bat, this is kind of a clean, neutral, bright IM, but something is wrong. So he's going to tell you what's wrong with it. In this case right here, Crin Ear reference. He's saying measurement neutral is not the same as musical neutral. And this is actually an interesting topic. I actually want to talk about this. But you can already tell that's where it's going to get, where the IM's going to head. Here, Juicy or Hairier, when the graph says yes, but your ears say no, right? So right off the bat, he's going to let you know, like, a graph's nice, but it doesn't sound that good. So that's what I appreciate about this guy. He's very honest. And I'm going to show you right now where he's honest, right? So Juicy or Hairier, what does he say about it, right? 1, 2, 3.
As mentioned, harmonica was very fatiguing and harsh. Woodwinds, strings, and trumpets also were very, very hard.
That's honest. I mean, whether or not you agree with it or not, that's being honest about something that everybody's shilling, right? Here's another one here. Pull a Unicron.
I'd be like, I don't want to hear these again for a while.
That's being honest, right? And here's another one.
The bass. Overall, the bass sounds like it's on a diet.
It's on a diet, right? And this is what I like about this guy, is that he's honest. You know what I mean? And I wish more reviewers were more honest. Like, basically, if you don't like something, please tell us. Because there are so many reviewers out there that make you think that everything is perfect. And it's important. We don't have to agree that you dislike an IM and I like it. That's okay. But I need to know where your biases lie so that I can understand more about you. Right? And that's what I love about this reviewer, is he tells you what he tells about. I mean, he gives you a rundown of what he thinks about it, and he's honest. It doesn't matter whether he gets a unit for free. He's going to be honest. And that's why I actually really respect his reviews. So let's go over his review format. So he kind of has this Audio Amigo format, and I don't know whether his was first or Audio Amigo was first, but I'm thinking he was first because he was here first. But basically, he has specs, the box and accessories, the tips, the cable, the build, the fit and comfort, the source pairing, the sound impressions, the bass, the mids, the treble, the technical performance, and he's detailed. I mean, he goes over everything like in a rundown. Now, what I do notice, which is a little bit interesting, and this is a good video to showcase this, he'll say when the graphs say yes, but your ears say no. But he never actually shows any frequency response graphs in most of his reviews. I just noticed that. So I don't know whether he doesn't include it because of interest of time, or because he feels it's already covered by other people, or whether he doesn't feel it's important. But I noticed that no matter what you choose, like, let's hop over here, you're not going to see a picture of a graph anywhere in any of his reviews. But he does mention, like how it graphs, but he doesn't actually talk about it in terms of the graph itself. But anyway, in terms of the way he describes things, I really love how he describes bass. There's a certain way, he describes it where you really get the impression there's and I go here and I go under,
and it has some power. It reaches down deep, but
yeah, right here,
to it.
You see that thing, right? That's how you know the bass. He's digging it. What I also like is when he goes over the technical performance, he goes over in insane detail, and the reason why is because he actually wears the IEM, and he's actually at a church, and he's managing the music for the church, all the instruments and all the choirs and everything. And so he's literally singing the entire auditorium and seeing how far that IEM is going out, which I think is really, really cool. So there's sort of a technical side to him. Okay, so that said, let me talk about how I came across Honest Audiophile and where it began with me. So I actually saw it on a review he did of the AKG K371. And in that review, what he was saying was, this is a headphone based on the Harman Curve. And, it's a really fun headphone. I love the way it sounds, but this is not something I would use in a studio. It's not going to give me a good read on what I needed to use it for. And I remember that when I saw this, I subscribed to this video because I'm like, this is the one guy, the one reviewer who understands. Like he's saying Harman is not neutral. Harman is basically what everybody enjoys listening, but it's not, what you would use in a studio. And so I'm going to give you guys a scenario to explain something in a different way, because this always leads to like a little bit of disagreement, but I'm going to explain it more clearly in a different way. Let's say you, the person watching, you're thinking about buying a microphone, right? So if you're thinking about buying a microphone, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to watch a million people on different microphones on that same microphone, and you want to hear how that microphone sounds to get a sense of like, what kind of microphone do I want? And what I want to tell you is, what kind of headphones are you going to be using to make sure that what you're listening to is actually how that headphone sounds? Because if you're wrong, that's an expensive mistake. You'll spend $500 on a microphone or whatever. It comes in the mail, and it doesn't even sound like the way it's supposed to sound because your headphones were lying to you, right? And that's what he's saying. Like, these headphones will lie to you. It'll make you think it's got a lot more low end, but it doesn't really have that low end. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what he's saying. Let's say I want to know the flaws of the microphone, like a tin can microphone. I don't want that to sound nice and full and warm per se if it actually is a tin can microphone, right? So like I was saying, if you're shopping for a microphone, what headphone are you actually going to be using to determine, I want something that actually sounds the way it sounds, right? And that's kind of what he's saying here regarding this. Okay, so overall, I love this reviewer. What do I not like about him? Because he's not perfect. The funny thing is, I love his videos, and I absolutely love it. There's only one thing I don't like about this guy. It's his posts. So it's funny because in his posts, he comes off a little differently, and I think maybe it's due to, in posts, folks just kind of come a little bit more impersonal. But sometimes, and I'm being honest here, I feel like his posts come across as like, this is how you fold a napkin, and this is the one way, and this is the right way, and I'm the honest guy, and this is how you fold a napkin. And my rationale, and this is with most of his posts, I'm thinking, no, that's your way. That's one way. There are other ways to do this. It is not just your way. So here's a post where he's saying, how do you identify a trustworthy reviewer, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to tell you what I thought about it. So in his first post right here, I agree. He says that you should be transparent. I agree. Then he says you should be consistent. Use the same methods. I agree. Then he goes off where I'm like, no, I don't agree. So he goes, a trustworthy reviewer, they attend live performances. I'm like, no, they don't. You don't need that, But then he'll also say, every reviewer has preferences. But then what he says is like, a trustworthy reviewer has a wide variety of genres, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't agree. And I'm going to show it to you guys right now. We're going to go over two popular reviewers, and I'm going to show you that basically, no, that's not the case. When I listen to Mark's music, let's play this, right? And then there's this. Always. And then there's this. And then there's this. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what kind of music this is. This is like music you when you go to like a perfume store. This is in the background, right? And there's this. And then there's this, and the point is, this is clearly a particular sound that he likes, right? And this guy ain't listening to hip-hop, he ain't listening to trance, he ain't listening to K-pop, but he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? My rationale is, a reviewer, you should just review what you know and what you love to listen to. And the people will follow or not follow, right? This is HBB. I basically was looking at what kind of music he listens to. Well, this is what he listens to. Right? And then he listens to this. Or this. He ain't listening to my kind of music. He ain't listening to Mark's kind of music. But the point is, you don't have to listen to a wide variety of genres. You just have to whatever you like, you go with that. And the people follow or they won't. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I notice about a lot of reviewers. They're specialists in their own way. Like, if I want to know, if I really loved hip hop, I would check out HBB audio reviews. You know, if I want to know about gaming, I'm going to go check out Fresh reviews. If I want to learn about, like, I think it's like new agey music, man, that's Mark. You know what I mean? If someone cared about like vocals and K-pop and pop, that's freaking me, right? So, you know, that's kind of like what I'm saying is like, you don't have to have everything. Just focus on what you want. Like I said, this is a guy who's saying, you know, you have to fold a napkin this way. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do this. You know what I mean? You don't have to do this. It's just one way. And then another thing, I'm going to break it down. He goes, and now this will be the last one, and we're going to end it right here. He goes, you know, a trustworthy review, they use full songs, not 30-second clips. They do this. I'm like, no, that's how you do it. But you don't have to do it that way. Because I guarantee you, when I check out tracks, here's my music, right? I have different tracks that I use for tests. And believe me, if they all sound terrible on this IEM, that's it, man. You know, like, I don't have to listen to the song for 7 minutes. You know, I don't have to listen to a whole album. I know when something's wrong. So here, this is what I do if I want to check for bass. And I tip roll the hell out of it, but this is what I use, right? I listen to that song like 7,000 times. I know when something's wrong when the IM comes in and the bass is weak and lean. I have never seen a situation where I come back and I buy it and I test it out for the whole day and that ever changes. It's like, no, this tells me a lot. Or when I listen to something like this is the sub bass, right? Summer's on the way. Or if I just want to listen, I can just listen to like 5 seconds of each of these, and it's going to tell me if that IM sounds bad on all these, it's not good for vocals, right? I want to talk to you, but there's no more to say. I try to hide it, but if I pull me closer, it's the freaking me I want to show you. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I don't have to listen to the song like all the way through. Though my approach is I start with snippets first, and you have to earn it. You know what I mean? If you fail all of these tests, you're not good at vocals, period. And that will not change. If I tip roll the IEM and you fail on all these songs, then you're not good at vocals. That's what it is. I don't need to listen to 30 days of cranial reference to figure out what it is. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm saying this is one way to fold a napkin. And that's my only criticism I have here. So yeah, other than that, I mean, he's one of my favorite reviewers. I definitely check him out all the time. And he gives a great rundown of everything. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. All right, well, you guys have a great day. Okay, bye.